Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Hard to believe that we are already into July. I tell you what, look, we've just been super fortunate here in Nashville, even in the midst of all of this crazy COVID stuff. We have actually been able to maintain a really healthy market. In fact, just yesterday or the day before, the new stats came out for the month of June. And despite the virus, we are actually 0.5% higher in sales than we were in June of last year. So, I know that's not the case for everyone around the country, but here in Nashville, we are doing really well, and we're very much in a seller's market, which kind of brings me to today's topic, which is going to be my advice to sellers. As I'm going through just different MLSs, looking at, different properties for my buyers out there, I start to really think about my sellers because I see mistakes that others are making. And it is always my goal to just try and give excellence to everything that I do. And that's even my goal when it comes to listing, is just to make sure that the homes are in top shape in order to get top dollar, right? So you don't want things, you don't want to be leaving money on the table. And you may think that even in a seller's market, you don't have to do anything in order to get top dollar, but that's not the case. So today we're going to talk about my advice to sellers in terms of how to make sure that you get top dollar, right? So let's go ahead and jump into it. So number one is going to be deep cleaning. And I don't mean like, okay, you go over the countertops, with an extra swipe. No, like we're talking about you clean the places that you probably haven't cleaned since you moved into the home. So we need to get top of the fan blades. I'm talking baseboards, anything, like basically think about it. I love Friends, I love Friends references. So think about it as you want to clean your house as if you were Monica Geller. So, we're like how she even cleans the bigger vacuum with the little vacuum. That's the kind of clean I'm talking about. Because the last thing you want is for buyers to start to walk through your home and they are starting to see all the dirt. Nobody wants to run their hand across the countertop and feel all the grime. This is your you do not want to distract a buyer from the dirty because your home is dirty, right? You want to be able to position yourself to where they're able to see the palette instead of starting to pick apart and looking for, say there's still pasta sauce on the stove or whatnot. Like you just don't want to distract them because they're going to, even though you might not think they're going to think this way, if they start to notice how dirty things are, then they're going to start to wonder, well, if you left this dirty, what else is wrong with the house? Where else are you not maintaining the home? So big thing, especially you want to deep clean before you're listing photos and video, and you want to deep clean again before showings start. And it's going to be a bit of an inconvenience, but it's going to end up paying off in the long run. Number two, get rid of furniture that is severely outdated. And this can kind of pair with something that I am a huge advocate for, which is staging. In order for a buyer, the last thing you want is to distract a buyer with your really ugly sofa from like grandma's house. You want to create a really nice, clean, neutral palette. And one of the ways to do that is staging. And then again, like you may love this sofa from grandma's house and that's great, but go ahead and pre-pack it. Get it ready to go to the new house. You just don't want, again, the goal in a showing is for a buyer to be able to see themselves living in your home. And it's harder for them to do that if they're distracted by all the outdated furniture. If you are somebody that loves the really dark, really chunky furniture, it's going to be best, again, to go ahead and pre-pack that and bring the staging in so that, you just don't want to be able to date your house. And you may think, oh, well, this is how I live in it. And that's great, but that's not ultimately how you get top dollar. Top dollar is making sure that buyers can see themselves living in your home versus seeing how you live in your home. Okay, number three, and again, like, with the staging, it also means like, also look at any minor updates that you can make. If you're still rocking that brass hardware, go ahead and swap it out for something that's more modern and clean and neutral. Sometimes putting a little bit of money into making these kinds of investments are going to, again, pay off when it comes to your bottom line. If you have carpet in the bathroom, I would recommend getting that up and putting down tile prior to showing your home, prior to listing. Again, it's just the more that you can create a really nice neutral palette, the better off it's going to be, because otherwise buyers are going to start walking through your home and they're going to start thinking, okay, well, here's the list price and here are the things we need to do to make it the way that we want it. So they're going to start to think about deducting that from ultimately the price of the home, which is not something that you want to happen. And again, you have to also think about, are you helping sell your home, or are you helping sell the neighbor's home? Has your neighbor made the updates that you could do cost effectively, but you haven't? Because otherwise, if buyers are looking in both your homes, they're probably going to be opting for your neighbor's house. So your house is ultimately going to help sell theirs versus helping sell yours. So these are all things to think about. And again, I know it can feel daunting, but if your goal is to ultimately get the most money out of your home and get the best offer, these are the things you have to think about doing in order to reach your goal. Okay, let's talk about number 3. And again, this kind of falls into staging, but it's ultimately highlight your home's best features. Do you have a fabulous, if you're in a tall and skinny, do you have a fabulous rooftop deck that has a killer view of the downtown skyline? Great. Then the best thing to do is going to be to really highlight that space. Is it great for entertaining? Make sure that you have chairs and tables set up. Maybe throw your grill up there. Maybe string the lights that everybody has. Or, do you have a pool in the backyard? Great. Go ahead and throw in your favorite pool floaty in there, maybe a cute like flamingo or a unicorn, whatever you want it to be. That'll kind of help to subconsciously get those wheels turning in a buyer's head. That's ultimately going to be like, oh, I could entertain up here. I would love to have my friends come over for like a wine night or grab some beers, or I would love to have my kids play in that pool when they get home from school, if they go back to school because of this virus, whatever it may be. So ultimately, again, you're going to want to highlight the best features. Do you have a really cozy living room that has a fabulous fireplace that you just love to like sit by and have your coffee in the winters? Great. There's ways that you can incorporate little items that will speak to how buyers can use that space and ultimately highlight your home's best features. Okay, let's see. Actually, I kind of dived through all of it. So basically, let's kind of, another thing, and this is my last point, paint. As my stager will say, paint is money in a can. And this again kind of goes into the deep cleaning, but when it comes to your home, go ahead and paint the areas that need touch-ups. If you have scuff marks everywhere, you're going to want to clean it up, make it look nice and tidy. Again, because I've had this happen where I'm walking through $1 million+ home with buyers and we start to see scuff marks and dirty marks all over the walls. And you're thinking, well, a home of this price point, you would expect that those kinds of updates or maintenance things would be taken care of prior to listing. And again, you might think it's just the littlest thing, but it starts to trigger a chain of thoughts in a buyer that it's like, well, if they can't take care of this, what else haven't they taken care of? And then the last thing I will say, advice to sellers, when it comes to getting ready to list your home, go ahead and list out the age of the HVAC system, the age of the roof. People want to know these things because they're going to want to know, is this likely a repair that I'm going to have to make soon, or is this something that's going to come further down the road? So you're going to want to have a list of all of those items. And even, another thing to just kind of point out on top of that is also, and I love to do this because again, people, while yes, you're selling a product in that it's your home, you're also selling a lifestyle. And so creating a list of what it is that you love in a home, what you love in your home, can really help to point things out to potential buyers. If you really love to set your Christmas tree up in this certain room because of the way that you can see it when you're sitting out on your back porch. You know, all of those things, when buyers come through and they can start to read what it is that you love in your home and how, like, certain features that you have just adored, it can start to it can start to help sell the home and the lifestyle to the buyers. So again, let's kind of do a quick little recap here. So the big thing, deep cleaning, clean like you are Monica Geller, be OCD about the cleaning. I mean, get in the nooks and crannies of baseboards, get the ceiling fans, get around all of your windows, clean both sides of your windows, which is friggin' huge. You're just going to really, and curb appeal, y'all. If you've got weeds, pull up those weeds because nobody wants to walk up to a home that has weeds. You know, take really good care of your home. You're going to want to staging, get rid of that outdated furniture. You may love your furniture, but it may be an eyesore for potential buyers. And so go ahead and pre-pack that. We can talk more about staging and just the importance of it, but staging will help highlight the best features of your home. And again, strategically placing items around your home that can help speak to the kind of lifestyle that buyers can have is going to be really important. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. Again, paint is money in a can. Do not neglect it. Make the necessary little updates. Because again, if your goal is to get top dollar, it's really and truly what you have to do to get your home ready to sell, even in a seller's market. Because again, in a seller's market, yes, you know, homes are in limited supply versus the buyer demand, but buyers are still wanting to know that they're getting a good quality home and they're getting their money's worth out of the home. And so again, if you and your neighbor are up for sale and they've made the updates and you haven't, you're going to be helping to sell their house versus yours. And ultimately, we want to sell your house and we want to get you the best price for it. So that is my advice to sellers. If you have any questions about it, please always feel free to reach out to me. You can also request my free seller's guide that I provide all of my sellers. Again, I am all about excellence and doing everything to the best of my ability and making sure that homes show to the best of their ability. And so it is jam-packed with all those tips and more. So again, you can always shoot me a message, shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to get it over to you. I hope that everyone has a fabulous weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next week.